September 11, 2001. 4 planes, thousands killed. The world permanently changed. But what if parts of the attack were already known? This is the story of warnings ignored, information withheld, and chances that were missed. In the late 1990s, U.S. intelligence tracked al-Qaeda closely. The group was openly planning attacks against American targets. In 1998, they publicly declared jihad against Americans. That same year, U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania were bombed. The CIA and FBI began monitoring al-Qaeda operatives worldwide, but coordination between agencies was fragmented. Each agency guarded its own intelligence. By 2000, the CIA tracked future hijackers traveling internationally. At least 2 of them entered the United States. They arrived legally, using student and tourist visas. Their presence inside the U.S. went unnoticed by the FBI. The CIA had their names, visas, and travel records, but this information never reached FBI field offices. Internal rules discouraged sharing intelligence. Analysts feared exposing sources and surveillance methods. Critical data stayed trapped inside classified systems. 2 hijackers, Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, lived openly in the U.S. They rented apartments and traveled freely. The FBI had no idea they were there. Meanwhile, several hijackers enrolled in U.S. flight schools. They trained on small aircraft. Instructors noticed troubling behavior. Poor English, little interest in landing, extreme focus on cockpit controls. Flight schools reported concerns to the FAA. Those reports went nowhere. No coordinated response followed. Analysts overseas saw al-Qaeda activity escalating. Attacks against Americans continued abroad. Warnings piled up inside intelligence reports. Most never reached decision makers. In July 2001, an FBI agent sent the Phoenix Memo. It warned that Middle Eastern men were taking flight training. The memo suggested terrorists might be learning to fly planes. It recommended urgent national coordination. Senior officials never acted on it. In August 2001, new intelligence confirmed hijackers were in the U.S. CIA analysts debated informing the FBI. They feared revealing ongoing overseas surveillance. The decision was delayed. Time ran out. The FAA and NORAD had no plans for planes used as weapons. Hijackings were expected to end in negotiations. No one imagined suicide missions using commercial jets. On September 11th, the hijackers boarded 4 planes. No alerts were issued. No planes were intercepted in time. He didn't know it was an attack. At first, it felt like the building itself had flinched. Then sound rushed in all at once. People shouted, but no one explained anything. There was no warning that reached this high. He moved because everyone else was moving. The air thickened with dust and heat. Information existed somewhere. Radar screens, phone calls, decisions. But none of it reached the floor he was on. Papers scattered like the day had been interrupted mid-sentence. He waited for alarms that never came. Time didn't feel like minutes. It felt suspended. He survived not because he understood, but because he kept moving. What followed was not confusion, but retaliation. Within weeks, the United States launched a global war in response to the attacks. Afghanistan was bombed first, its government accused of sheltering those responsible. Cities were struck, villages were searched. A war that began with a target quickly expanded to a country. Then the scope widened. In 2003, the United States invaded Iraq, a nation not directly involved in the attacks. The justification was weapons of mass destruction. None were found. The invasion collapsed the state. Its military was dissolved. A power vacuum formed. Violence rushed to fill it. Entire regions destabilized. Civilian populations were caught between occupying forces, militias, and airstrikes. Millions were displaced. Hundreds of thousands were killed. Prisons filled. Torture was documented. Drone strikes became routine. Many were based on incomplete intelligence, the same failure that haunted the years before 9/11. The war on terror spread beyond borders. Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, and Libya. Each became a battlefield. Some strikes missed their targets. Others created new enemies faster than old ones were eliminated. What began as a pursuit of those responsible became a permanent state of war. The attacks of one morning reshaped foreign policy for decades. Entire generations grew up under occupation, under surveillance, under aerial warfare, all justified as prevention. The system that failed to stop 9/11 did not collapse afterward. It expanded, and the cost was no longer confined to one country. Only after years of war did the investigations fully begin. The 9/11 Commission documented missed warnings in detail, not as a mystery, but as a pattern. Intelligence existed. It simply never moved fast enough or far enough to stop what was coming. Major intelligence reforms followed. Information sharing was overhauled. Airport security was transformed. New agencies were created to prevent repetition. But these changes came after the consequences had already spread across the world. This wasn't a failure of warning, it was a failure of connection. Small decisions, delays, and silence compounded into catastrophe. Understanding these failures doesn't undo what followed. It only determines whether it happens again.